Resident Evil
month. Alright, so today we're talking about Resident Evil Code Veronica X. And this kicks off Resident Evil month. It's been a while since I've done Resident Evil, and we're going to do a whole bunch this month because Resident Evil 4 Remix coming out. On this game, Resident Evil Code Veronica is a good classic RE game, which although it's not as original or refined as some of the other fixed camera originals, it's a good culmination of the series up to that point. But more simply, it's a fun time. So this is one of the closest to the originals of the fixed cameras I've played. There's still a couple of differences. I'll get more into that later. The gameplay has the strengths of the other fixed camera games. The tank controls are clunky, but add to the tension in combat. There's good item management on having to choose what you need at the moment. There's good goal gameplay where you're constantly finding solutions to roadblocks, but then behind those roadblocks are more solutions and more roadblocks. It's a good gameplay loop. The weapons are good. This time there's a couple of sets of paired weapons that are fun. Dual wielding in games is kind of an interesting subject actually. These ones are a bit unique. You can actually fire at two enemies and it does it automatically. And also you're forced to fire both weapons at once, which usually when dual wielding is set to one trigger, it forces you to alternate fire, which I usually find that annoying, so this is good. In the level design, they do that thing where you have to go back through and replay levels where something in the environment changed, but it's not as bad as that usually is. And the environments feel significantly different. It doesn't feel quite so repetitive. The puzzles are decent, adventure gamey sort of puzzles. The next bit is specific to the X version. It's too dark. They give you a lighter sometimes, but that's not enough. You can't see too well, and consequently that creates a weird difficulty curve where the better lit sections in the middle of the game are actually easier because you can find more items. The UI in this game isn't very good. It's difficult to navigate. I still don't know how to look at the notes. The story is a decent escape story. It starts with Claire fighting her way out of a old umbrella prison overrun with zombies, but then it also shows Chris coming in to save her toward the later of the game. And although Chris is a good character and it's good that he's included in the game, they do kind of undercut Claire's story in the end with him. Overall, the characters are good, classic archetypal RE characters, except Steve. Steve. He's an annoying whiny guy who messes important stuff up because he's dumb. And then they also push him and Claire as a couple, and not only could Claire do better, but she deserves better. Also, Claire's character is still the good, caring, but also a fighter that won't go up lady. She is in the others. Although this is the first time seeing the older version of Claire, and she's a lot more younger and vulnerable, which isn't inherently bad, but it's different to see. Chris is on his way of his arc to being the boulder punching, just shoot stuff tough guy. He is an RE5. That's fun. I believe in this game is the first time he does the "come on" line. Anyway.
Come on, Sheva, come on, hurry, Sheva, hurry, Sheva, come on.
Wesker is also becoming the great, extremely evil and arrogant villain he is in RE5. There's good cheesy dialogue, especially from the first villain.
I so want to enjoy this.
But one of the best cheesy lines is from Steve when he's firing two guns in the air, screaming, "Father!" but with not much more context than I'm giving you right now. But they do get into that afterward a bit, but not much.
Father!
The game has good aesthetics. The environments are good, well made, classic horror stuff, but which is classic RE stuff. It's these nice spooky places, but the individual environments don't mesh together too well. You do things like walk across a bridge, and then you go from the old prison to this ornate palace. Since the game doesn't use pre-rendered backgrounds, there's nice tracking and moving cameras and spots, and they look really good. Talking about the full 3D, there's some weapons that go into first person, and those control really bad, but there's not too many. The creature design is a bit of a mixed bag. The base zombies are more detailed and varied, and the first version of the final boss is good. But on the more negative side, there's things like the final version of the final boss that isn't very good, and also there's these bad gooey monsters. Overall, it's a good classic survival horror, classic RE experience that's fun, even if it's not the best. And I'm giving it an 8.55. Next week we're covering the original RE4. Thank you to anyone who likes, comments, or subscribes. That's it.